The views and opinions expressed on the cap are those of the hosts. They do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of OldMilk Media. Any opinions stated aren't intended to offend anyone. All right, welcome back to the Cap Podcast. This is episode 414. I am your host, Nate Sperlin. That is Taylor McLeod. Before we get into anything, I have a rant that I want to get into because I recently upgraded to a new phone, iPhone 15 Pro, and the amount of difficulty. I mean, honestly, in general, if we're talking about like just the general state of everything, it seems like everyone is starting to lose. Businesses are starting to lose the concept of customer service and making your customer feel welcomed and feel valued. For example, one time I was trying to go into an establishment and there's a lock on the door of the establishment. So I'm trying to get in and the dude is waving like, come in, come in. And it's either come in, or get off the door handle. And it's like, this is not the best way to signal that. And you see me trying to come in, and then like you finally press the button to allow me to come in, and then you're looking at me mad weird, and it's like, okay, well, I don't want to be here anymore, and you're not getting any of my money because it should be hello, how are you doing today? And I understand that like people are going through whatever and stuff like that, but still, it's just the concept of as a customer, as you asking for my money as a business should mean that I am taken care of as a customer. And yeah, that has not happened at all this week. From me trying to transfer my phone over to me losing both of the lines on my phone because of bad customer service, to me going to the actual store, the actual mobile store, and to it being closed at 8:30 when it's supposed to close at 9. That doesn't make any sense. Does that make sense to you, Taylor? Would that make you feel
No,
valued?
it's one of those things where just with the current state of so many things, it's like it's so much bigger than just the people working there. And obviously I know you know that, where it's like those people there don't feel valued, so then they don't have the, you know what I mean? It's like a never ending chain of no value.
Yeah. I got mad at Target like a month ago because they started like locking all the literally all of their merchandise behind like locks and stuff like that. So now it's like,
Yeah,
okay, as I'm trying to spend money at your store, I have to be babysat now too. Like, what is going on here?
right.
Fuck Dunkin' Donuts too,
Yeah, it's
because
the same.
Dunkin' Donuts, like they got the munchkins and then they make
Hey
the
now.
munchkins smaller and then they charge like higher. It's like, to cut it short, to make a long rant
Yo,
short, everything
I
sucks
just saw
but this
I just
Drake
saw
album.
Duncan ad with Justin Fields. I just
No, you
saw
didn't.
Duncan ad with Justin Fields, so you gotta
He
be
needs to
careful.
stop. He needs to
Yeah, I
stop.
did.
No, he needs to stop.
Hey man,
Go to Tim
you
Hortons.
got
Go to Krispy Kreme.
don't
Isn't he from he's from Georgia anyway, right? What is
nah.
he doing on a Dunkin' ad? Go to Krispy Kreme, bro. That'll make no sense.
We know what's superior.
Krispy Kreme. The
Certainly not this,
oh well, yeah, we can agree there. All right. Taylor always
bro.
being
That
the
I
voice
don't.
of reason and
There's
bridging things together.
it's no Dunkin' out here where I am.
Yeah,
So
no.
I have to get in the local coffee shop. They're really good, but the whatever beans they use, my heart rate has been going crazy when I
Oh,
have coffee there lately. Like I don't know what they're like. I don't know.
they're lacing it with more
I don't
caffeine.
know.
They're lacing it with sugar in the beans.
Well, I've been, and you'll be disappointed in this, but I've been on a little mission to completely cut out one of our favorite relaxing things. So,
Oh, gotcha. Is,
so
is there
now
is
it's
there is there a
all
reason?
caffeine.
Oh, you're just going straight to the
It's all
caffeine.
it's a no. I don't want to, but now it's all caffeine without my favorite little anchor hold back.
That's a perfect way to describe it as an anchor. Um, anyway, it's been three weeks, 2 weeks,
Yeah,
two
something like
weeks,
that.
something like that. How have you been? What are the listeners? What do you want to catch the listeners up on?
Not a whole lot. Same old, same old. You go to work 5 days a week and then spend 2 days recharging to go back to work.
Yep, it's the American dream. Don't we love this country? Anyway,
Uh-huh.
this is the Cat Podcast. I was like, oh shit. This is the Cat Podcast, episode 414. I'm your once again your host, Nate Sperling. That is Taylor McLeod. Thank you for watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and more. Do us a favor, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Old Milk Media, and check out all the Old Milk content at oldmilk.co. This is your weekly tour through hip hop. Once again, just for the sake of formalities, Taylor, how's it going? What do you, is that a Boston Celtics logo? I just peeped that. I like that. That's a nice hat. I won't wear it, but it's nice.
I had this hat. I got this hat at a thrift store when I was like 13, and I traded it away. And I was looking for it for a long time after, and then last year it randomly popped up on Grailed, and so I bought it again. And I love just the Lucky by himself, not
Is
like the
is there a chance that that's the original hat that you had from before?
no.
Like
The
what if
other
it
one was
was?
a different brand. I mean I know who has the one. The person I traded it
Oh,
to still has it. I know they still
okay.
have it, but I'm not trying to be like, hey, remember that trade we made 10 years ago? Can I have it back?
Hey, remember when I gave you 5 picks for Rudy Gobert? Can we redo that? Can we not do that?
Yeah, exactly.
um
Exactly.
how are you feeling about your Boston Celtics before we get into the meat and potatoes of this episode?
Great.
Okay,
Great.
good. I'm happy for you. Once again, this is the Cat Podcast, and before we get into reviewing For All the Dogs by Drake, we are going to go through our power rankings and then our versus segment. Taylor, what are your power rankings over the past 2 weeks?
So I've been listening to at number 3, Dillatronic by Jay Dilla, just an instrumental album. I've been listening to that a lot. Faith is a Rock by Mike Wiki, and it's produced by Alchemist. And then number 1, it technically just came out yesterday, but I've had the version that came out a few weeks ago. I'm not exactly sure how to say the first word. It's French, but like Voir Dire by
Mhm.
Alchemist and Earl Sweatshirt. So those have been my 3. I didn't listen to a lot of Drake coming into this album. Normally I like go back through everything, but you know, that was when we got a Drake album every couple years. Now it's like every like 6 months we get a new Drake album. So
Yeah,
things are a little different.
except for this one because he did say that he has stomach problems that he needs to take care of. So we don't know when the next time the boy will be dropping. But my power rankings are Her Loss by Drake and 21 Savage, The Pink Tape by Lil Uzi Vert, and then finally Nostalgia by Rod Wave. Album of the year contender over there, I gotta say. Moving on to verses, we're comparing Certified Lover Boy versus Her Loss. And those of you who have been watching this podcast for the past 2-3 years already know what my answer is going to be. But Taylor, what is your answer?
I think it's tough because like these two are this whole latest era of Drake is like under my favorite Drake, right? So it's like
Mhm.
it's sometimes it's there's part of me that's like I don't like I don't care which is better. You know what I mean? It's like I'm gonna take the songs I like from both and then add it to the albums that I really love. But I think I liked Her Loss more in the moment when it came out, like last year when we talked about it. I think I liked it more. But as time goes on, Certified Lover Boy definitely grows on me, and it just feels like a little more put together. So for the sake of this, I'll say Certified Lover Boy, which also gives you a perfect lane to choose the album that
Yes,
you want to.
because Her Loss is way better than Certified Lover Boy. It's not even close. Certified Lover Boy's ass. I'll stand on that forever. That is like that is the worst Drake album, period. And one of the worst albums I've heard. Just because of understanding that it's Drake. Well, first of all, it's Drake, and there should be more than one song that you like from a Drake album, especially from a Drake album. And there's only one good song on there, in my opinion, and that's Knife Talk, and that's because 21 Savage carries it. The rest of it, again, just going back to the first listen, like it's really, they say first impressions are everything, and here, especially with music, first impressions are everything as well. And just hearing that first song and hearing how bad the mixing was, it's just like, and it's Drake once again who has access to every mixing, every mixer, everybody in music who he might need help from, he has access to. And just for the first song, for it to not be mixed correctly after being pushed back several times, just unacceptable to me. So Her Loss in the landslide, and also it's 21 Savage. But anyway, on the other side of this commercial break, we will be talking about For All the Dogs by Drake. So stay tuned. Yo, this Young Lil album is the best of all time. I can't wait to talk to Taylor about it, man. This is gonna be the greatest thing ever.
Yo,
Yo, what's good, Taylor? How you doing?
I hate this album.
Do you have to clean your ears first?
My
What's wrong with you?
girlfriend said everything I play in the car scares her. She said I lost all my taste,
Clearly.
and I need your help.
Well, what am I supposed to do about it? You want me to order you Q-tips?
No, I need hoodies. I need a beanie. I need t-shirts. I need you to help.
All right, I'll see what I can do. I can send you this beanie, but everything else we're gonna have to see. Introducing the 2023 Old Milk Collection. This collection, comprised of hoodies, t-shirts, beanies, and stickers designed by Nate Sperlin, is guaranteed to show everyone your superior style and taste. Man, I hope Taylor doesn't scare the viewers with that bummy outfit. Oh,
Yo.
no bummy outfit today. Look at that.
No, I'm much better. The album sounded better. Everything is better. All thanks to Old Milk.
Rush over to oldmilk.co to shop the 2023 Old Milk Collection today. All right, welcome back to the Cat Podcast. Once again, this is episode 414, and on this episode, we will be talking about For All the Dogs by Drake. 23 tracks, 1 hour and 23 minutes long, featuring Tizo Touchdown, 21 Savage, J. Cole, Yeet, SZA twice, Party Next Door, Chief Keef, Bad Bunny, Sexy Red, and Lil Yachty. Join the conversation in the comments below. That being said, Taylor, what are your thoughts on For All the Dogs by Drake?
So as you can imagine, well, I don't know if you can imagine, because obviously if you've known me, maybe not, if you just like listened to this, you wouldn't know this, but Drake's been my, favorite rapper for well over a decade at this point. So it might be hard to imagine that he gets judged by the same, on the same criteria that, every other album does. But my first thought when I saw this is this album's way too long. Like, I don't need 23 songs in an album from anybody. Like, he already did the double album, and pretty much every song since Views has been super long. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I think it lines up perfectly with when streaming became the main way to get music, and it wasn't albums anymore, when you didn't actually have to press things, or when no one had to buy it. So, a 20 song album used to be what, $14.99, $13.99, and a shorter one would be $11.99 or $9.99. So it's like, it was way too long. And normally I'm a very big like proponent of keeping an album intact. Like, I don't like to delete songs, but with this one, I mean, there's some stuff that on here that I just can do without. So I've cut this down to 16 songs. Like, it went from 23 to 16. I've completely deleted 7 of them. As it pertains to the music, I texted you this yesterday, but I'm pretty glad that he said he's going to be taking a break for a year, because it's just the release schedule, and we can get into where I think things have turned over the years, but the like release schedule really since the beginning of COVID, I would say, with Dark Lane demo tapes, it's almost been too much Drake, and it's too much of one era of Drake. Like, we used to get to experience an era of Drake through an album. Like, there was one album tied to a certain era. And now, with how often things are being released, I really think from maybe right after Dark Lane demo tapes, but kind of like the middle of 2020, end of 2020 until now, is really like run together for me, in terms of the sound, in terms of the subject matter, in terms of how I feel about the music. And it's not really good or bad. It's just like, this is where we're at with Drake. Like, the albums don't feel as thought out as the first albums used to feel. They feel definitely like it's a lot of stuff where Drake used to be. There was a period in time where Drake like definitely had there was like a shroud of like mystery around him a little bit. Like, he's always been a really big star, and he's always had these like pop hits that come out, and so he's always been super visible. But when it came to the albums, there was always this mystique of like, oh, he's like gonna go back to Toronto, and then we're gonna see what happens. And now it's like he's completely visible at all times between every project. So we're not getting the same level of, I don't think the music is as good, but I think a lot of it is that like the character of Drake is definitely stagnant at this point.
Yeah. I can definitely see that. My one retort. Well, I do have a question first. What are the 7 songs that you eliminated, Taylor?
So I got rid of 3, 4, and 5, which is the song with 21.
Okay.
The Fear of Heights and Daylights.
Okay.
I got rid of the song with Lil Yachty.
Okay.
Really? I got rid of the song with Sexy Red and SZA.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I just don't.
Wow.
A big part of it is, and I think part of this lead into this Drake album was like the idea was that if you liked anything that I've done in the past, this
Mhm.
is gonna sound like that. And there's certainly moments that are reminiscent of the Drake that
That's
made
fair.
me such a
Yes.
fan. But like, I don't need like the Drake trying to make 2023 music, because it's not like, you know what I like. I just don't, the like the whispering like scary Drake that he's like trying to do. Sometimes it feels like he's trying to take Knife Talk
Mhm.
and make every song
Yeah.
that way. Like, and what I meant when I said, where things have turned was 2019, early 2020, when we got like Omerta, Money in the Grave, When to Say When, Chicago Freestyle. It felt like Drake was kind of evolving from like, like the Six God Drake to like this like mob boss, like super East Coast, like kind of like tucked away Drake. And I was really excited for that. And then COVID hit, and since then it's been very much like Miami Drake. Like, I know you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's hard to articulate, but I thought we were getting like a almost like a kind of like a Jay-Z direction shift to like where
Mhm.
like Kingdom Come happened, and it was like, oh, like, okay, he's cementing himself. And it almost feels like it's been the opposite way, where he's trying to like make younger music as
Yeah.
he gets older. And I I think there's moments where it works, and I think there's moments where it really doesn't. Those are the songs that I delete.
Okay. So to respond to your point about him trying to make every song like Knife Talk, I actually feel like the way that track three? Let me pull up the track list here. The one with 21 Savage, I know for sure. I believe that's track three. Let me get the
Yeah.
name of the song correct. Calling for You. I think the reason why it's constructed that way with that big interlude, which I hate, um, is because he heard all the noise about people saying that 21 Savage has been carrying him for the past 2 years, and he wanted to split it up so that because he still wants to do a song with 21 Savage. Like 21 Savage is like they're friends, like they're still gonna make songs together.
Yeah.
But he does want to split it up in a way where it's like, okay, I'm gonna rap on this beat, and then you can rap on this beat, and then in the middle we're gonna have this interlude about this woman complaining about eating oxtail every day, which who would ever do that? Like, sounds like the worst
Right.
person in the world. So but like aside from that point, aside from calling for you, I see what you mean. I also responding to your other point about how it seems like these 3 years have been one era of Drake and it's kind of stagnant. I kind of like that more. I think it's more genuine and I find it more genuine because before the pandemic in 2019 or 2020, excuse me, but like from 2019, from like if you're reading this, it's too late till 2019, I want to say. It kind of felt like he was like, well, no, he was like trying different styles and stuff like that. And in a way, it kind of felt disingenuous because it's like, okay, like you're not trying this sound because you love it or you are trying to perfect it. You're trying this sound because you see that people this is what's hot right now, and you're just trying to stay as the topic of conversation. So that kind of felt disingenuous to me, and that was also one of the main reasons why I disliked that era of Drake. I like this era better because from Dark Lane demo tapes to For All the Dogs, you can see the improvement in the style. So like you can see him getting better at the style each time it comes down with her loss and For All the Dogs being the best two out of this what is it? What do we have? Like 5 albums from 2020 till now. I could
Yeah.
be yeah, so out of those 5 albums, these two are the best. And I would argue that this album For All the Dogs is more impressive than Her Loss because he doesn't have as much he doesn't have 21 Savage on it. And 21 Savage is a great artist and within his own right. He has classics, in my opinion, and he's probably gonna drop another one soon. So like he's on the same, he's not if Drake is a tier A artist, 21 Savage is a tier B artist, if you see what I mean. So with
Yeah.
that help, it makes the lack of help here makes that more impressive. Um my initial thoughts honestly are I don't want to hear shit about Utopia being album of the year anymore. I haven't gone back to it since aside for like 4 songs, and this album is just so much better than Utopia. Just for the sake of the the ether everybody else talking about it. I know like on this podcast, Taylor, like we definitely consider albums like differently in terms of for album of the year differently, but the it seems like some of the consensus is Utopia. I don't understand it. I don't want to hear it anymore. For Other Dogs is better. Period. Straight up.
Yeah.
I also think
Yeah.
going to your point, also, I also think this is his most impressive album of the 2020s for what I said before. You see him getting better at this style. You see him perfecting the style. Calling for You to 70, 79, 69 Santa, amazing. And honestly, it honestly breaks my heart that you don't like Calling for You. You don't like
Yeah,
um
I deleted
Rich
like
Baby
almost that
Daddy.
whole stretch.
You don't like Another Late Night.
Yeah, it's
These are
not,
like the songs that I go to first.
you know, it goes even farther back. I think that since Nonstop became the biggest song off Scorpion, and then his verse on Sicko Mode went so crazy in 2018, really we've seen like a huge shift in what he leans into
Mhm.
to go big. You know what I mean? Because it for a long time it was like he could make a real pop single, right? Like and it wasn't this like super like aggressive, super, I don't know. I mean, like you have God's plan, like you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
that was always kind of like more of the Drake formula, like nice for what, God's plan. Like to have it be more like I don't want to say R&B-ish because it's not necessarily, but you know what I mean? It's a little more like user friendly.
Yeah.
It's a little more like, all right, this is for everyone. This is for everybody. And really since Nonstop, I would say the attempts at hits in they've worked for the for the majority of the time they've worked, have been these like real like aggressive, like leaning into a completely different side of the hit maker that he is, right? So you look at the albums through the years, and like on Dark Lane demo tapes, there's some aggressive songs, but like my favorite songs on there, like When to Say When, which is just like a strictly like a rap song. It's over the
Mhm.
like song cry beat, or like Losses, right? Where it's like more like, reserved. On Certified Lover Boy, my favorite song is Pipe Down. Like that's like, you know what I mean? Like the
Mhm.
real, like super polished instrumental with Drake, like just skating. Her Loss, my favorite moment is Hours in Silence.
Mhm.
Like so, and I think that's part of like the Drake fan that I am, and the reason that like why I like Drake, because I don't want to talk about the whole bigger picture the whole time, because we do have an actual album to talk about, but like
Mhm.
my favorite moments on this are almost more when Drake's singing, which for
Yeah.
a long time that wasn't the case for me. Like I love like Virginia Beach on this. The opener is incredible. The Frank Ocean sample is great. Like I think Drake really does a great job on that. 7969 Santa, maybe my favorite song on the album. Like Drew a
I'm
Picasso,
not mad at
Members
that.
Only. Love those two. Love those two moments. And then my favorite song is Away From Home, which
Mhm.
is the only song where Drake is just rapping about Toronto Drake,
Mhm.
like his real life.
Mhm.
Like my favorite Drake song ever is Do Not Disturb, the outro on More Life.
Mhm.
That's my favorite Drake song ever, besides like Star 6 7 on If You're Reading This Is Too Late. And so I love that real life Drake. And I feel like we've gotten so far away from that. And it's part of it's to be expected. Like his star has only risen since 2018. He was already like the biggest star in the world at 2018, but really since like that Pusha T beef didn't necessarily like kill him off, we've seen like a whole different formula for Drake's success. Like there is no more like, even on If You're Reading, or not If You're Reading This, like nothing was the same. Like the aggressive song was Worst Behavior, but he's still super Drake on that, right?
Yeah.
It's like still like, all right, this is, and now everything now, it used to be like, all right, Drake is obviously a hip hop artist. He does a lot of the same things as everyone, but he's Drake. And
Mhm.
now it's like, no, Drake is playing in the same game as everyone else. And he might be doing it in his own way, and it might feel better than other people, but he's playing the same game as everyone else now, which isn't, that's not what I want for my favorite artists. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Understood. I feel like we might be looking at it from two different angles, because my angle is this is an album called For All the Dogs. It's basically about what is a man who is a dog. It's a man who is not loyal, who is like we all know what that means. So from that standpoint, I feel like this album gets the job done. I feel like this album accomplishes what it needs to accomplish, because there are a lot of people here, there are a lot of people like in the ether talking about, wow, Drake is so toxic here, or maybe he shouldn't have said that. And it's like, yeah, that's the point. It's for all the dogs. Like it's something that a dog, like a person who thinks of themselves as a dog would say. But I feel like from your perspective, because Drake also did say this, I completely forgot about it until you just mentioned it, is he said that this album was going to be like a collection of or basically a curtain call for like all of the best moments of throughout his career. And looking at it from that point, I'm not sure it really gets the job done from that perspective. So I can
Right.
see how
Right.
we can have two different viewpoints of it. I see the other side as well. Um, that being said,
Yeah. And I,
go ahead.
it, quick response for all the dogs to me, that was like for his Toronto crew. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? For Noel and 40 and Oliver and Chubbs and all the people he's talked about for 15 years at this point, right? For me, when I heard For All the Dogs, I was like, oh, this is like an ode to like his career. And then we get into it and it's just her loss continued.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's like it's like and that I guess it's more like if I took myself out of that mindset, I'm sure I would enjoy this album more. And
Mhm.
it's not that I didn't enjoy it, but I and especially like there was rumor of a Nicki feature that was going to be on this, and it's like, oh,
Mhm.
we're really like we're really getting like you know what I mean, like a like in the back of my mind, I was like, are we gonna get like a Wayne feature on here
Mhm.
somewhere? Like, is it really gonna be like a situation? Like, and I get it. Like, you can't just like you can't recapture Take Care. You can't be like, all right, you're 36, but put yourself back in your 25-year-old shoes. Like I know that doesn't happen and that doesn't work. And that would be more disingenuous than what we got. But I think that what you just said is puts it perfectly where there's two ways to like look at that title. And one of them makes perfect sense for what this album became. And
Mhm.
then the other one is where I was as a super long term like Drake stan, for a while. And I was like, okay, like perfect. And that's why Away from Home is my favorite song because
Mhm.
that's the one that's about his come up as coming from Toronto and being in the Holland Tunnel and splitting chicken tenders with the guys and like in those like lines are whatever those don't mean a ton but like the whole vibe of that song is like no this is like what the deal was which same reason I love Elevate off Scorpion when he's talking about like doing road trips from Cincinnati to Dayton like touring at colleges like can't have everything like doing college shows like Calipari Flow. So I don't know. I thought we were getting something else and it didn't happen. So I think and I think I'm talking through it with you right
Yeah.
now. It's like one of those things where it's like, oh, like this is my favorite rapper for such a long time. And we're going to get like a little like window backwards. And it was like, oh no,
Now you
no, 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 no,
feel
no. That door is shut.
now you understand how I felt when the pink tape dropped. How you
Yes.
feel right now is exactly how I felt. I felt like, okay, like this is like it gets the job done, but is this really what we wanted from my favorite artist? And it's just interesting to see that. Okay, so I do want to talk about a few songs. The first one I do want to talk about is I Don't Give a Fuck with Yeet. Honestly, Drake and Yeet on paper makes no sense at all. That being said, that's a really good fucking song,
Yeah,
man.
that song goes so crazy. It
That's
makes
a
me feel a
really good
lot like
song.
Fiend off Utopia. Like it holds the same spot as Fiend from Utopia for me, where I'm
Mhm.
like, damn, like all this other stuff is like I could get through it, but that one for some reason, that's like one of the ones, and I haven't really listened to Yeet like that, but his like the chorus on that is so great.
Mm.
When he says that he signed for a couple mil and then said you only touch 100,000 is insane.
I also think that it goes further to my point about appreciating this era of Drake because I don't like just the type of beats that he picked for this album. Like when you think about the beat on I Don't Give a Fuck, when you think about the Lil Yachty produced tracks and how those beats sound, like Away from Home, Another Late Night. Like you're not really you're expecting Yeet to be on that type of beat. You're expecting Lil Yachty to be
Yeah.
on the type of beat that he's on, and you're thinking, okay, is it gonna be Lil Yachty, Lil Uzi, like someone from that generation, Lil Yachty, 21 Savage, like are they gonna get on the song? But to have Drake do that and do it well in a way that it seems genuine, I think is really, really important for honestly his legacy. Um, let's talk about 79, 69 Santa. I am not mad at you that you think that's the best song. It's top three for me. And it's
Yeah.
before I heard Rich Baby Daddy, this was my favorite song.
Yeah.
First of all, the I Don't Like interpolation by Chief Keef. We have to respect the goats. And Chief Keef might not be on the same level of goat as Drake or Kendrick or J. Cole. He is still a goat. He is still a legend. He literally
Yes.
created a genre of music. And for that reason alone, he's a goat. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I also appreciate the interlude at the end that's sung by Tizo Touchdown, and then Snoop Dogg coming in
Mm-hmm.
with the radio DJ
Yeah, the
voice.
BARK
You're
radio.
listening to BARK radio, and Snoop Dogg got a great voice. If he's not in
Yeah.
voiceover right now, I mean, well, Snoop Dogg got mad money. He don't really have to, but like I'm just saying, like Snoop, if you bored, don't go do some voiceover because you'll be amazing at it. I think that, but I think that song is the most complete or one of the most complete songs out of the songs here.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, in the hook on that, like the super like 7 9 6 9, it's like that's like the intoxicating Drake hook that like has worked for him for so long, which is why I love that song. Um, there's other moments that try to kind of, like Bahamas Promises. I feel it kind of tries to capture that a little bit, but
Mhm.
it doesn't do it in the same way. But yeah, that one is the one for me. Like Away From Home is my favorite because like the
Mhm.
Drake fan in me loves that song. But in terms of, like what I think is the best song, it's definitely between 7 9 6 9 Santa or Virginia Beach.
Yeah. I also want to talk about first person shooter. First of all,
Yeah,
Cole carried. He did.
yeah,
I appreciate Cole because when Cole dropped that verse on the secret recipe or whatever, something like that. I think it's the secret recipe. I was kind of confused what people were talking about. Like, I think that Cole was just referencing what happened between him and Young Boy, but I don't see Cole as someone to go out and start the dissing first. So that just never made sense to me. Cole saying niggas so thirsty to put me in beef, dissecting my words and start looking too deep. I look at the tweets and start sucking my teeth. I let it rock. I love the mystique. I still want to get me a song with Young YB. Can't trust everything you see on IG. Amazing. Also, I also like how Cole consistently brings up the three goats of this generation are let me do it in order. Drake, Cole, Kendrick. I love that as
yeah.
well. So really good verse, really good song there. Drake also does his thing, but let's be honest, he's not Cole there. He isn't.
No, well, he does this. He does the weird like
Hey, what?
he
Hey,
just
what?
does it
Hey,
like I
he got to stop doing that.
yeah, right. I hate that.
Yeah, he got to
I
stop doing that
hate
shit.
that. I hate it so much. It's like, yo, like I much would have rather just have that song be like, 1.5 verses from each of them where they like
Mhm.
they split that first verse and then they had their own verse each. And it's like, that's what I want. I want J. Cole and Drake to be two of the three greatest rappers of their generation and just do it. Like we don't need I don't even really like the biggest of what like Super Bowl like you
Yeah,
know what I mean, but I can live with that because it builds into the
yeah, it
song
does.
and it's fun and it's too like super accomplished artists like celebrating themselves and I love that. But yeah, when we get to the scary Drake, like I
Yeah,
love
no.
Mob Boss Drake, I don't
Mhm.
love scary Drake.
No, not at all. The only person who can whisper in my ear is 21 Savage, and I'll enjoy it because ASMR is crazy. And also, they'll come out the house is crazy. One more thing before I get into the things that I don't like, or maybe two more things before I get into the things that I don't like. All the tracks that Lil Yachty's has producer credits on, Calling for You, What Would Pluto Do, Another Late Night, and Away from Home, all great, all really good songs. Additionally, the beat on Rich Baby Daddy reminds me of the Running Man challenge and also reminds me of In My Feelings. And Sexy Red, what she does there, perfect use of her. And then SZA comes in and carries. That, in my opinion, is the best song. Not close. Now let's get into some of the things I don't like. What would Pluto do? You have a song named What Would Pluto Do about Future. What would Future do, basically? You've done albums with Future. You have songs with Future, and you don't get Future on this? Drake, explain. That doesn't make sense.
I think there's a little static there. There were some rumblings that her loss was not Future didn't like that.
Yeah, but like, then don't put the song out. I don't want the like. It's a
That's what
good
I'm
song.
saying.
It's a good song.
That one
I
feels
don't
like an
want the song
olive
if there's
branch,
no
like,
Future.
hey, that one feels like, hey, Future, we
Okay,
still good?
okay.
That one
I'll
feels like
entertain
a
that.
hey man.
I'm
Yeah.
still thinking about you. You see all this toxicity I
Yeah,
have in this
right.
album. I'm trying to be like you, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
I can see that. I also don't need the Bad Bunny and Drake collab. Don't need that. I
No.
don't need
No. Hell no.
I don't need Drake to say whipped and chained you like American slaves. What the fuck? That ruins Slime You Out. That like I don't even understand. There's so many better songs on this album than Slime You Out that I don't even understand why that was considered as a single in the first place. Still
Because it
solid.
has SZA. Because it has SZA on it.
There's another one. There's another banger right here with SZA. Rich
I
Baby
know,
Daddy.
but you
and
know.
Sexy Red is like the talk of the genre right now. It just makes more sense for that to be the single. Is that all that I dislike? Basically, oh, I also think that Chief Keef should have a more of a presence on all the parties, besides being the reference track of or the reference for the hook. Is that
Yeah.
it? Yeah, that's it. Oh, also, Away from Home should be the outro. The other
Yes.
songs, Polar Opposites, don't need that. R&B tracks, not really for
Yeah.
me. That being said, Taylor, final
I
thoughts.
like Polar
Oh,
Opposites, but you're right. That should be the outro.
final
Like
thoughts.
that can be my final thought is that it just put that somewhere else. Put that after Virginia Beach. You know what I mean? Like those songs to like I like if you loop the album, they go well together. Like if you know play the album then play it again. But um I know we have a couple minutes left, so I'll run through my final tracks. You want to do final track or favorite tracks and then shelf life?
Oh no, final thoughts. We're good. Like the like last thoughts, top three tracks, and then playback value for you, and then I'll do it for me,
All
and then
right.
we go.
So my final thoughts is like I this isn't what I thought it was going to be. It's still a fine album, but it's not what I thought it was going to be. And as a fan, that can be disappointing. But my judgment on the music, I can definitely be clouded by that. So I think it's a good album. It's not what I wanted. My favorite tracks are Virginia Beach, 7969 Santa, Drew a Picasso, Members Only, 8 a.m. in Charlotte, and Away from Home. And I think
Mhm.
those are all the lowest key Drake songs. Those are
Mhm.
the ones where it's like, no, this is just Drake. Like that, you know what I mean? It's just Drake. And then you have Party Next Door, which is a throwback. I love the Screw the World interlude too. That's really important.
Yeah,
Shelf life for me, I've been listening to this guy since I was 13 years old, right? Like I'm 25 right now. Shelf life for me, it's gonna last. I'm gonna come back to this probably, you know, for as long as I'm listening to music because I'll find little moments that I really appreciate. In terms of the overall shelf life, I think this will be shorter than most Drake albums that we're used to. I don't know if there's a song on here that has the legs outside of First Person Shooter. I think First Person Shooter will have the legs to last a couple months, but I think this shelf life will be much shorter than we're used to from a Drake album.
you're sleeping on Rich Baby Daddy, man. Anyway, my final thoughts are the production, the use of features, also the execution of the theme of the album. What I understood the theme of the album to be makes this one of Drake's most impressive albums. Album of the year contender. He's two for his last two. Congratulations, Drake. I won't be slandering you for another year. And calling for you to 7969 Santa, best run on the album. Top three tracks 7969 Santa, number three. Number two is First Person Shooter, and number one, Rich Baby Daddy. Playback value for me, objectively, 1 year. Again, Drake, you have earned yourself a year of not being slandered from me. Good job. I am so proud of you. Subjectively, oh wait, yeah. Well, subjectively, it's a year. Objectively, I also think it's going to be a year. It's Drake. It just doesn't go away. Period. That being said, this has been the Cat Podcast, episode 414. Thank you for watching. Let us know what you think of For All the Dogs in the comments below. That being said, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at OldMilk Media. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and check out all the OldMilk merch on oldmilk.co. That being said, we'll be back next week talking about Offset. We are out.